here we go. All right. Great evening. Great evening. This is the dynamic, daring, one of a kind diva Denise Silas. Excited to be here with you guys here on yet another Let's Talk About It Tuesday. So we're going to jump right in. I'm excited about our first time ever, the very first of them all, our couple that's going to give us a perspective from a him and her standpoint. And I'm excited about that and champion our first male speaker on here.
History.
Yes, you're the first. You're the first. Y'all gave me an idea. So I'm hoping this won't be our last experience getting that male perspective and that just from a couple standpoint as well. So if you are just tuning in with us, please put in the chat if this is your first time experiencing an Empowered by DS experience by jumping on here. And then also put in there where you're tuning in from. I always like to know through our virtual world who we have on and who's tuning in with us as well. And then finally, how did you find out about our event tonight? So if it was through the speaker, did you see it on Facebook, social media, whatever? But we're glad to have you all here. So I am going to jump in because I always love to let people know, especially if it's their first time on, a little bit about who we are. So this is where you always cross your fingers like, Lord, let the stuff come up that's supposed to come up. Right?
Technology.
I know, right? Mm-hmm. One day, though, I'm going to have a whole behind the scenes person doing all the stuff. Right now, I'm the person doing the stuff.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, that's what's going to all happen. So, let's get this party started. So, Empowered by DS, who are we? It's myself and my two daughters. It is, that's not what I want to do. Okay, it is our whole mission for Empowered by DS, and DS standing for Denise Silas, is to empower women to be the best version of themselves. So we do it through experiences. So weekly, we're here with our Let's Talk About It Tuesday. We may miss one or so here and there, but that's where our focus is to do that weekly. Then monthly, we do what's called Divas Dinner and Dialogue. That is our social self-care. So through this Divas Night Out, we come together, have conversation, and communicate to build community. So it's just a fun way for us to deal with topics that's important to us. Then quarterly, I host an empowerment workshop. So the purpose of that is really to help women to build their professional and their personal, to develop themselves to be the best versions through understanding their skills and helping them to shine brightly in that and help to nurture that. And then annually, we do a retreat. And then we in the spring, and then at the end of the year, we do what's called Vision of Victory celebration, because at the beginning of the year, we always start off with our vision board affirmation party. And then the goal is to stay with women all year long so that they can stay focused and we have something to celebrate at the end. So that is us. And then we just did our annual Feel the Heal in the Hottest Heels, which is our ovarian cancer awareness event in memory of my sister. So this was our 15th event that we've held to help to increase awareness in her memory. So it's all about doing all the things that we can to help a woman be the best version. So these are some of the other things that we do along with that. So when we talk about her faith, her family, and relationships, her finances, the fun she has, and her fitness, I kind of touch them all. So annually, we choose some type of devotional to do. Right now, we're working on the 21 Laws of Leadership through John Maxwell's Bible. So that's a devotional we do. We also have an empowerment subscription box. So if you are a part of that subscription, please put it in the chat if you are enjoying your box. So every quarter, we have a theme. And the real purpose of that is to help women to center on themselves, get focused on themselves, because we create a journal. And that journal, the only thing they're supposed to put in there is the desires of their hearts. And every week they try to do something to support getting closer to that goal. So we do that once a quarter. And then we're rolling up now on one of our other causes is the adopted grandparent. Every year, through the support of our friends and family throughout the community, we're able to support Sacred Heart Southern Missions, which supports just low income individuals in northern Mississippi. So we're able to do 400 plus seniors every year through the donations that we get. So we'll be putting that out in probably the next 48 hours. It's coming strong and coming hard because 400 is not a small number, but we can not do that without our support of our our family and friends in the community that we have. We also have a community, a Facebook group called Decide Tribe. Decide stands for Divas Empowering and Connecting Individuals Who Dare to Excel. So if you are a diva who dare to excel, that we want you in our tribe. We just want to support you about being the best version. If you are positive, we definitely want your energy so that you can just love on each other, celebrate each other. We'd rather be in a situation where we're being celebrated and not just tolerated. So we have that. And then I do group training, public speaking, go in corporate environments, and then do one-on-one coaching as well. So it's all things to support women in whatever ways that I can. So of course we do this. Ooh, my thing messed up. We do, like I said, let's talk about it Tuesday weekly. So next week we'll have, and this month is a Domestic Violence Awareness Month, along with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So Kimmy Webb is an advocate for domestic violence. She has a nonprofit, so she's going to be coming to share about just how we can support people. What are the signs of domestic violence? And she says sometimes people find out they're in a domestic violence situation and don't even know it. So she's going to give us resources, but just one, if it's not you, praise the Lord, but you may know somebody. And so come get the information so that we can then spread it out and help empower each other. And then the last week, I'm very excited for her to have her as well, Dr. Precious. She is a master at leading yourself. So she does a lot of self-awareness. So she'll be sharing regarding that, just kind of leading your own ship before we try to lead other people. So keep coming out. And then in November, we already have our first 3 weeks lined up for November. And so you want to keep coming. So you'll get a text now that you're in our network. You'll get a text. Some of them you'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm interested in that. And then some of you may not. So just ignore the text and then the next time, or share it with somebody that you know that may impact them as well. So I promise you, it's a variety of topics that come. Some may catch your attention, some may not. We are still taking orders for our subscription box that we just launched. It's for our 4th quarter subscription box. It's about get up, go hard, and let God. So the whole journal is all about how to let go and to give it all to God. I know Shawnee would attest to that. So it's focused on that. And you can also get it for your personal self as a quarterly subscription, or you can get a one-time box, or you can do it and order it to give out for gifts. So I have a lot of people who definitely just send just a loved one. My friend sent it to her daughter who just had a baby. I know someone sent it as a thank you. So it's different ways that you can use it. So let us help you bring some joy to other people. So we have that. These are our last events for the rest of the year. So we also introduced a quarterly pass because some people come to everything and they have to keep registering. So we gave them a quarterly pass, and actually also has a savings with it as well. Just thank people for their commitment. So upcoming, I know some of you are not local to us. The breakfast that's on the 25th is hybrid, so that you can still register. The registration for hybrid is $25 versus the $40. The $40 includes the breakfast. So we have that coming up so you can participate in that. I am so excited about that. It's finishing the race with grace, you guys. And when your mind just gets going and all of a sudden like, oh, this is going to be good for them. This is going to be good. So I want y'all, if you know of anybody trying to finish this year strong, that you encourage them to get registered for that. Our November 7th, and I'll talk about that a little bit. And then we have our finale, our Vision of Victory. So get engaged, come hang out with us. So this is the workshop information. If you ever have any questions about anything, just respond back to that 662 number. And I can always get you information you need. A lot of times we have text or word to it. This QR code would take you directly to the Eventbrite. But if you have any questions about the workshop, just let me know. But I promise you, God, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I was excited. Have you ever been excited about creating something that you just want to share with people? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I am feeling that way and I'm hot. Okay. We have our Diva Dinner Dialogue on November 7th, have a couple things happening with it. So we have a pop-up shop. So we're just showcasing. It's a smaller event. showcasing about 10 different vendors. When I do them, I always love to do more intimate. So it's not 7 different people doing t-shirts, 15 people doing jewelry. So it's always a small, trying to just represent, not having too many duplicates with it. So we're having that. Also, we're having at that event the Queen's Corner. So we're excited to partner with Miss Black Mississippi, one of my girlfriends, Andrea, and we're just inviting ladies not only to bring themselves to this event, but to bring their daughters. And so they're going to have the opportunity to have dinner with her, take a photo with her, but she's going to pour into them. So while we're dialoguing and connecting with each other, then she's going to have them in her, what we call her Queen's Corner. And with their registration, they'll have their dinner, but they're also going to have a crown and a sash. So we're calling them our future Miss Diva USA. So just to give them that experience and just helping them to know that they're a queen already. So nothing we're doing is making them a queen, just trying to encourage and just pour it back into our youth as well. So we have that going on November 7th. So excited about that as well. So we're just trying to do some great things as we wrap up this year. So always go check us out. Everything is Empowered by DS. Our website is Empowered by DS. Our email is Empowered by DS. And you can catch us on all social media platforms with that as well. Make sure you join if you're not already a member of our Decide Tribe, please join that. We would love to have you. If you have events, if you have anything exciting, motivational that you see, please share and encourage other people as well. They say sometimes we may need to be encouraged and sometimes you need to be the encourager. So we're just trying to work together to just bring love in this crazy, crazy world and all this pressure that we're going to learn about today as well. So that's all I have to say. So the Hibblers, we're excited to have them on. So let me stop sharing here, bring y'all on the stage as I read y'all bios. So welcome everybody. If this is your first time, please put it in the chat. Tell us hello and tell us where you tuning in from. So let me bring her. Let me get you. And then yay! Okay. Let me get this. Introducing all the way. Okay. So we're going to start with Jarvis. Jarvis Hibbler is a mentor, counselor in training, and the founder of Champ Mentality. Originally from Tunica, Mississippi, Jarvis developed a strong sense of determination and resilience early in life. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice with a concentration in Human Services from Colorado Technical University and is a member of both the Alpha Chi and Psi Chi honor societies. With years of experience as a professional truck driver and a passion for helping others, Jarvis now pursues a master's in clinical mental health counseling with an emphasis in Christian counseling at Grand Canyon University. Through Champ Mentality, he empowers individuals to overcome challenges, embrace growth, and step confidently into their fullest potential. Okay. Next, we have Shawntel. Hibbler is the vice president of South Haven Chamber of Commerce, where she channels her passion of people and business into helping local entrepreneurs thrive. Originally from the Bronx, New York, she studied business management at the University of Maryland Global Campus and later discovered her calling in community and business development. As the owner of Holy Hood Clothing and Grace to Thrive, Shawntel blends her entrepreneur spirit with her unwavering faith to inspire others to pursue purpose over pressure. Before joining the chamber, she spent 8 years with the U.S. Army Child and Youth Services, serving military families and strengthening her foundation in leadership and service. Shawntel is married to her husband, Jarvis, and together they're raising 4 beautiful children. Though a New Yorker by heart, she proudly calls Mississippi home, the place where her faith, family, and purpose beautifully align. Oh, yay! Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited to have you guys on here this evening. So first, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but what made you say yes to my crazy invite?
Purpose. You know, it's it's one of those things where I'm in a season of I've pretty much told God whatever it is that He wants me to do right now. Whether I feel like it or not, it'll be a yes. And I'm anytime that I have an opportunity to share my story, to be able to share how good God has been to me and my family, and just being able to be alongside my purpose partner, my hubby, I'm always say yes. So I was extremely excited when you asked, and I was all for the yes. Now I don't know what made Champ say yes, but I want to hear why he said yes.
Did it
Well,
catch
I
you off
see
guard first, Champ, when
it
when she
did.
told you?
It did. But what made me say yes, I see you have so many events for women and stuff, and I've always wanted to be a part of something that you have, especially since, we call you family though. So I'm honored to be, although it's a platform full of divas, I'm honored to be a part of this experience.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you guys for saying yes because you didn't have to. And with crazy schedule, I know you're traveling and everything. I do want you guys to know I truly appreciate your yes. So, and I hope through this that we can be able to impact some people together. So, let's get to these questions. And you guys in the chat, if you have any questions, please go ahead. Let me make my chat visible. Please go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll definitely include that as well. So, first question: how do you both keep your focus on God's purpose when the pressure of business, family, and full-time jobs start to collide? Who wants to go first?
um, I can tackle that one first, I guess, babe.
Well,
Um, I will say that I focus on the why. I again, like I had mentioned earlier, I am in a season where I have told God whatever it is that He wants me to do, it'll be a yes. Um, and it's mainly because I had noticed that I had started taking a lot of the things that I had for granted. And God kind of reminded me of where He brought me from to where I am now. And if I got so wrapped up in myself to where I couldn't give myself back over to what He put me on this earth to do, then I was actually being selfish. And so, kind of realigning and spending that time with God to be able to listen to what it is that He's saying to me and what He wants me to do in this season, regardless of whether I think I have the time or not, whether I'm tired, it's more so just trying to remember that God has me here for a purpose, that He's placed the people around me that is around me for a purpose. He's placed me with my family for a purpose. So all of those things that is wrapped into who I am and what He's called me to do is just a part of the process. So I just try to be grateful in where He has me, and that's pretty much how I'm able to really focus on the purpose over all of the other stuff that are can really be seen as distractions if you don't, focus in on what your purpose is.
Right, right. So, what do you have to add to that, Champ?
well, one thing about purpose is very important to understand, how important your purpose is. Because a lot of time we try to look at our purpose as being as something just for ourselves, but mostly it's just something for the people around us, like loving your neighbor as you love yourself. So understanding that I feel like if I don't fulfill my purpose, if I don't live out my purpose, it's gonna do more harm to my neighbor than myself. I feel like if I don't put out in the world what God has placed in me, maybe my neighbor will perish. And as we go deeper on into these questions, I'll kind of like share a little bit more of my story. So just to give you all a little bit more clarification though, but understanding your purpose and how important your purpose is, that's that's really key. And when it comes down to colliding with your family and business and etc., I mean, in my opinion, I think it all kind of like works hand in hand. But when you understand your purpose, you kind of understand who you're supposed to have in your life. For example, like the purpose I have for my life and how I try to fulfill it. I don't think I can have just any spouse by my side. I have to have a person to kind of understand my assignment. And that's also important because some days I'm gonna be discouraged. Some days I'm gonna feel overwhelmed. And by a person such as Shawntel, I mean, she can speak life into me. She can pray over me and all those things when I get at that level. No, everybody don't have that ability. So, like I said, it's important to understand your purpose, to understand your assignment, also to have people around you who understands your assignment as well.
And when you say even respect your assignment, because sometimes people
Exactly.
may not understand it, while you're moving, but just
Hmm.
respecting, even when I don't understand it.
Right,
Uh,
you're right, because I'm a truck driver and Chantel, she sticks by my side. I don't think she understands it all the time though, but she still respects me and
mhm.
respects my purpose.
Awesome, awesome. Let me ask you guys this, because I'll come in and off of our specific list, but would you guys say you understood your purpose already before you met, or in the process of your relationship it was revealed to you clearer?
Mm. Um, I would
Because
say a little
how
bit
long
of
have y'all
both.
been married?
We just celebrated 4 years
Okay.
on the second.
Okay.
So I would say it's a little bit of both. I so what really got me serious in my walk with God was I had went through a season of divorce. And so I had it was a really dark time where I was trying to understand, why I was trying to understand why I was going through these things and what happened, what could have been done differently. And God started talking to me and letting me know that, there's seasons that you just have to walk through. You have to walk it out because it's meant for you to be able, anything that we go through is not always just for us, is for us to be able to get out on the other side, gain those lessons and help somebody else that may be going through the same thing or may find themselves in that same season. So that was just my focus was, Lord, what do you want me to get out of this? Out of all the pain, the heartbreak, whatever it is that I was going through, what is it that you want me to get out of it? So he started unraveling and showing me a little bit of what my purpose was and what he wanted me to do. But I think that it really magnified once I got with Champ. It was kind of like that. It was that alignment that I really needed in order for it to make sense. It was like I knew I had dreams and visions, but it was once I got with Champ and I understood what his purpose was and what my role was in that, it really started to gel a lot and it helped me to be able to decipher, okay, this is the lane that the Lord wants me in, even though if it deviates a little bit, I'm totally okay with that because that's what God will want. But it really did bring clarity once we aligned with each other.
Awesome. How about yourself, Jarvis?
Yeah, as it pertained to understanding Chantel's purpose, I knew her purpose before we met. It was kind of like drew me to her because she was walking in and she used to go live and just talk about God. She used to have these prayer challenges or whatever. She also like you just mentioned earlier the Holy Hood clothing and the position I was in. I was really a young person, really just looking for a way to kind of like serve God, praise God, worship God without, you know, just
Being
hooping
in
and
the
hollering in the
pulpit.
street. Right. Exactly. And Chantel kind of like provided that outlet for me. And it was really kind of like just looking at her purpose, I kind of saw like, okay, now this the type of person, whom I need in my life. And as for me, I knew my purpose for quite some time. And like I just said earlier, like understanding your purpose, understanding your own assignment, understanding what God has called you to do. Like I said, you probably can't prevent every mistake though, but I kind of was able to kind of see who I need in my life and who I don't need in my life. And Chantel was one of those people.
Awesome.
Don't get
So
me mushy
precious.
on this line now.
Precious. Okay, can you share a moment when the pressure almost made you quit, but purpose reminded you where you started, why you started?
Mhm.
You want me to go first this time?
Yeah, you go first.
Um, mm, Sometimes pressure makes me quit when I feel like I'm trying to give advice to people and people not receptive of that advice, or just feel like it's just falling on deaf ears. But just remember my purpose. Also knowing your purpose, you gotta know who you were sent to. And just to give a little bit of my background, when I was 18 years old, I got in a little trouble that caused me to go into prison when I was 19 for 8 years. And me just being, and I was actually a freshman in college, so 6 months into college, I get in trouble. I go to prison, but while in this situation, I see a lot of troubled young men. You know what I mean? Intelligent young men, but these are people that you see that you probably just wouldn't approach. You would think they're crazy or some killers or something like that, though. But God's gifting in me, it just allowed they just feel comfortable coming to talk to me. And my being that young, I used to have a civilized conversation with him. And I also remember talking to this one guy. He was about to get out of prison, and I asked him what he was gonna do, when he got out. And he was a drug dealer, and he said he's just gonna go back to selling dope. I mean, in my mind, that didn't make plenty of sense. I'm like, so why you gonna do that? He said, man, that's the only thing I know how to do. So by me being my purpose, I discovered that I had the gift of talking to people, having a civilized conversation, advising people. But a lot of people, especially young men, we need guidance and we also need answers and solutions. And when I got out, of course, it was difficult for me to get a job. It just seemed so hard for people just to give me a chance just because of my background. They don't know me as a person. But by me driving trucks as being a part of my purpose, because I want to own trucks to be able to help people in prison with a second chance. And also young men who is just trying to like go down that path, who is probably don't have a father at home or a father figure, don't have no type of positive role model, just living in a environment, really just don't have no type of hope, don't have a way out. I want to be a one to provide that. So that's why now I'm killing myself in school, killing myself on this road, getting all the knowledge that I need and everything, so I'll be able to help people. And like I said, just knowing how important my purpose is, it makes me refuse to quit. I understand I'm not going to be able to save everybody, and it's not about saving everybody. It's about saving who God put in your life, who God sends to you. It's your job to plant the seed, and God is going to do the rest.
Right. We don't do the saving, right?
Right, right.
Right.
All right. What about yourself, Chantel?
Um, I kind of align a lot with Champ because there's plenty of times where I feel like is this, this may be where my cap is. This I don't think that I have the capacity to really do any more. And it really just brings me back to if I don't, then it can be seen as selfish. And so there's been plenty of times honestly where I felt like it was just a little too much, where I didn't really want to do didn't want to do it anymore. Or didn't want to go a certain lane or a certain role, but it really is just keeping my eye on my ears and everything else on what God has told me that I'm supposed to do, the people that I'm supposed to help, especially um, in times when, especially going back to when I was in that dark season. It was kind of like, well, I don't want to. I don't want this purpose. I don't want to have to go through this in order for me to understand what this person is going through. Or I don't want to have this experience in order for me to be able to relate to somebody. Like I want to be able to relate to them, but not have to feel the pain, you know?
Mhm.
But it really is just trying to make sure that I'm sticking to what God has called me to do and that I'm pleasing him at the end of the day. And it's not me and my desires.
And when you guys agree, I call that blind trust. Woo! It yeah, that's all I can,
Yes.
it's really when you say, I'm willing, and
Hmm.
I remember just going through some times where, when my mom passed away, when my sister passed away, and just say, Lord, what am I supposed to learn from this? Like,
Hmm.
who is this for? I wanted whatever I need, and then you get something 10 years later, 20 years later, somebody says, I remember when your mom passed, and now they want to be consoled because of something that they saw. So you just never know where your testimony will become for the person. Like during the season, you don't always see it, but you just have to
Right.
stay willing, right? Staying
Right.
willing and really realizing that he's not a God of mistakes. Like
At all.
um,
At all.
he has assigned you to it. And if you're wanting to fulfill what he has, and I have this, when we talk about the pressure and wanting to quit, not having time, I call this my Deniseism. This is what I believe. You can't make me doubt it. God gave us 24 hours, right? He created 24 hours. He created that, right? He also knows what he has called us to do. So at any time where you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't get it done, I believe you're doing somebody else's assignment. You're not focused clearly on what, because he gave you enough time, right?
Mhm.
He knew what time he gave you. He know what he called you to do. So he has not put you in a position to not get it done. So if you have all these other things you're checking off, you may have to look at it and say, hey, is this a part of the assignment, or is this things that I just think I need to get done? Or that sometimes we sign up with things just because we can do it, we
Mhm.
know how to do it, but it takes us away, becomes a distraction, even though we could do it, from what we're called to do. So when you think of just some of the things that people, our family and friends have just asked us to do, how do you balance the no? Like being able to say, to be able to stay in your purpose, you have to at some time say no. Like you cannot not be in a position to say no when you are trying to stay focused,
Mhm.
right? You just got to learn how to, because you can't do everything,
Right.
right? And I'm not saying the stuff that's not, that you feel is in your purpose. I'm talking about the other stuff
Mhm. Mhm.
that people. So how do you handle, because you just have a lot. You have your children, you have family members, you have, you're still youthful, so your older family members are counting on you too. So how do you manage that piece of it?
Um, I it really depends. In a lot of situations, I have no problem saying no. I like I'll just, oh, I can't do that, or I have this going on or that going on. But I do think that being able to be available for people outside of myself is important. So like you mentioned, we have family, we have close friends, we have, there's a lot of different things that we kind of are that we participate in or that we help with. And I think that it's just a matter of, I speak to God like he's my friend, because he is. But I'll ask like, all right, Lord, I don't know, but do you want me to do this? Like, can I say yes? Because I really would hate to get to a point where I'm saying yes to something and I can't, um, because I hate disappointing people, to be honest. Um, so I literally I ask God straight up, like, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, you're gonna have to let me know, like I can say yes. But I a lot of times I have no qualms with saying no too.
Gotcha. About
But
yourself,
that's
Tim?
what That's a full question. I mean,
Mhm.
most of my family kind of understand my position, so they won't bother me anyway, though. But um, I'm gonna tell you another story. I remember once upon a time, it seemed like I was just hanging out with my cousin every weekend, and it's like I wasn't getting nothing done. And it's like God tapped me on my shoulder, like, what are you doing? I'm like, God, I don't know, I'm tripping. But instead of just sitting down and having a conversation with them, like, okay, I'm not gonna be coming around as much, I just disappear. You know what I'm saying? And there's people, depending on the situation, you just can't be afraid to disappear. Because if they call, I don't have to answer the phone. If they come to the house, I don't have to come to the door. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be afraid to disappear. You just lock in, do what you gotta do, understand your why, understand the importance of your why. And if you got some goals that you want to set and achieve it, I mean, go get it. It's not about what other people think or their opinions or nothing like that. Do what you gotta do.
Yes, stay focused. But
Mhm.
but that's a big challenge for a lot of people, right?
It is, it really is.
It's a big challenge.
Can I
Uh,
also add something to that? Because I
sure.
think it's also about knowing what season you're into. Because it does come in seasons of where you are able to do a little bit more.
Mhm.
And so I think when you recognize this is just the season where I have to focus in on whether it's, career and family, and I don't have the capacity to do anything more than that, that everything just is going to fall under a no. Or if it's like, okay, I have a little bit of wiggle room to where I'm only doing things that align with purpose. I think it's just a matter of recognizing your season too.
Yeah.
That's a
And also, yeah, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I would say also now when it comes down to helping my family, if they call me for any type of help, I hardly personally I hardly ever say no. Like no matter what type of position that it puts me in, I'm gonna help it in a way that I can. Cause me, just me now, I just feel like God ain't gonna put more too much on me that I can bear. And I feel like that He put enough in me because I consider myself as a go-getter. I feel like, okay, whatever I lose, whatever position that I put myself in, that, I can get it back. And like I said, I feel like God's gonna bless my hand regardless.
Awesome. Um, I love how you put we were just talking about this on Saturday. When you talk about the season, I think um, I think a lot of times people think it's just a blanket. Because everything is the same. And we were talking about, I was at this meeting, they were talking about people not showing up, and that equated to them not being committed. And I told them, I said, if you would have caught me 4 years ago, for 4 years, you would never have seen me on a Saturday, because that was the season my daughter was traveling, right? So in that, my availability now is because of the season I'm in. And the dynamics of it. And I always like try to encourage women that have smaller children, when they say I can't come. Okay, girl, I'll see you in 5 years. Like, I don't make no big deal of it, because I understand the concept of when you're the season of your children matter. So when you're thinking about lining up, now we not just focus on ourselves, we have to then also consider our children, being able to balance that out. What would be your balancing tips for someone? Because y'all have a variety of ages.
Mm, yep.
um, for your children. So share the ages, and then share any tips, like how do you even manage that? And then with Champ having to travel, just managing all of that, and then that family time over the weekend and all of that good stuff. What would you say?
Right. So from oldest to youngest, we've got 15, 13, 10, and then 2. So, huge age gap between the 10 and the 2-year-old, but it's a little different because we are a blended family. So, our oldest lives primarily with his mom, and then our middle two live with us, with of course our baby. But throughout the week, it's really it's almost like, I hate to use the term, but it's like a single parenting situation throughout the week, just because Champ is on the road. But one thing that we always gonna do is be on the phone. He's always on FaceTime. So, Jira, who's our 2-year-old, knows when she gets the iPad that she's calling daddy, or if she gets my phone, she's calling daddy, so that his presence is still felt in the house. To make sure that we're still praying and things like that, just touching base as a family. But we kind of lock in those, as much as we can, we lock in those weekends as family time. So as you spoke about, Denise, where you like, if you tried to catch me on a Saturday for 4 years, it just wasn't happening. It's almost like the same for us. We try our best to participate in a lot of things too, but for the most part, Fridays, Saturdays, we try to keep that as family time, because those are the only real times that we really have with each other. But it gets a little tough, you got to get into a routine in order for you to really be able to keep the home flowing, and still making sure that even though he's on the road, it's not like he's gone, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yes, yes. Did you want to add anything, Champ?
Well, not really, because I still haven't figured out a solution for that though.
You said you're
Because
still working on that.
it's very difficult, especially leaving home. Like I said, we got a 2 year old. That's actually my first girl, biological girl. And it used to be Shawntel I used to cry for when I leave the house. Now it's a baby girl. And I being away from her, I feel that hurt every day of the week. And like I said, it goes back to one of the questions. It sometimes it throws me off my focus. I'm like, Lord, I done had a baby girl. I miss my baby girl. I love my baby girl. I want to be a part of her life.
Mhm.
And then again, here's is the purpose. So either way it goes, I try to make it count. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't be there helping Chantel. That also helps though, but I'm gonna bring in the bread for her. That's the least I can do. I can take care of the family.
Gotcha.
You know.
So, what are some practical things you guys do as a couple to stay aligned with each other while juggling all the stuff, the travel, the rocking of the baby, and so what are some practical things that you think that you guys have made a priority? And I think you kind of have mentioned the cause and the prayer. So, what are some specific things would you guys say that you do?
Did you want me to take that one back?
I said, there go baby girl right there. See that I'm about to
Yeah.
cry now. But
Yeah.
spiritually and mentally, Chantel and I, we sometimes we slacked up a lot though, but sometimes we just have prayer time with one another. We do have our devotionals with one another, and during that time, it's like we bond with each other, we connect with each other, and also having God right there in the midst. So we also feel the presence of God. And during that time, during our devotions, our conversations, we can always reassure one another. We can always clarify some things. We can always bounce off each other ideas, see how we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. But having God right there in the center, I think that's one of the most important things, and that what keeps the love strong, my baby.
I think he was talking about Shira, but go. You want to add anything, Chantel? I go to the next question.
Sure, I was just gonna kind of expound on the devotionals, just because I feel like it's super important. Like it helps a whole lot with spiritual, yes, but it helps us to dive deeper into um each other as a person as well. So, there may be some things that I don't know that he's struggling with or that he's dealing with. And so when we're doing devotionals, those conversations tend to pop up, and it helps us to have that safe space to where I can express myself or he can express
Mhm.
himself. So it opens dialogue, and it really helps us to be able to communicate a lot better. So I would say like our devotionals, when we do our devotionals, is super, super important, but also trying to make sure that even with our 50, 11 kids and we still having to rock babies and whatnot, just any moment that we can get where it's just me and him to reconnect individually is super, super important.
Yeah, we also try to include the kids during those times sometime as well.
Awesome. So
Mhm.
communication is
Right.
key. I think none of us would fight that. So for someone feeling overwhelmed and unsure if they were really walking in their purpose, what advice would you give them to keep going? Because that's what a lot of people struggle with, knowing their purpose. What tips would you, and I know that's a big, what you guys been talking about a lot. So how would you suggest someone um, having to identify and walk in it? So I think first is identifying it, right? Giving tips on how to
Right.
identify it to be able to be as strongly and bold and committed as you are to
Hmm.
your purpose. And we get it at different times, right?
Hmm. No, as for me and my purpose, like I said, I ended up in the situation that I was in. I've always had a love, a heart to help people. So I've always passionate about helping people, but I really just didn't know what to help people with. And like I said, being a counselor, especially probably potentially a correctional counselor to be able to help people within the justice system or the juvenile system, I mean, there's needed because the incarceration rates in each state, it seems like it goes up every year. And as far as feeling overwhelmed or whatever, you gotta also be able to identify like what is making you feel overwhelmed. Just example, sometimes I feel overwhelmed, but sometimes I mess up and try to kind of like monetize my purpose. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make some money off my purpose. And sometimes it probably not be meant to make money. Sometimes the souls are more important. You know what I mean? Or sometimes the money may come later. So I would probably feel overwhelmed sometime because if I don't see the results of some cash getting in my pocket, I probably would feel like, okay, my purpose is just not working for me. So I'm starting to get in my head. But however, I would probably get a text 1 week and be like, champ, your video or champ, what you said to me has really helped me. Now, is that which one is more valuable? You know what I'm saying? Now that's what you gotta have in your head, and that's what you gotta have in your heart. But being able to kind of like identify what's making you feel overwhelmed, identify that problem, tackle that problem, handle that problem, put it in God's hand, and also that relationship with God, speaking with God, talking to God each and every day of your life. He will always tell you your purpose. He will always tell you whether to go left or whether to go right. But you got to stay in communication with Christ.
Cool. Watch yourself, Chantel.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't come off mute. But I wholeheartedly agree. I think that a lot of times it's what you feel drawn to when you're trying to identify your purpose is like things that you just keep finding yourself in. So I for the longest time I would think that, okay, well, I like shirts, I like clothes, I like, I think that I'm funny, so I was like, what if I had a shirt? I don't think that, I need to be in anybody's pulpit. I don't think that I need to be that I'm probably gonna be on the street just preaching, but I still hold on, mama.
Mhm.
Okay. But yeah, is one of those things where it's like I still want to be able to preach the word of God, and how can I do that? And what unique way can God use me to be able to, you know, be able to spread the gospel? And so again, it was prayer time. It was my time with God and really just seeking him and seeing, okay, what is it that I'm good at? What have you gifted me with? And how can I be able to bring you glory in the process? And so I think when you really trying to figure out what your purpose is, you're just looking at what giftings you have, what are you drawn to, where do you feel like you're being called, but then also checking in with God to make sure that that's the right path, because sometimes we can say that we want to go down a path because it looks good, but that's not the path that God has for you, you know? So being able to just accept and pivot if he wants you to do something totally different too.
And I think, it's getting that clear understanding between being gifted at something and being talented at something. Like, it's
Hmm.
certain things you can learn how to do and do them well. And then you just think that that is that's what you've been called to do. And that's what you just learned to do. Right. So, and when I hear people talk about, I'm trying to figure out my purpose, I, I ask them, like, what are you doing to try to figure it out? Because it's not going to be like, oh Lord, I am, some people waiting for it to fall in the sky. Like, you have to be actively figuring it out, praying about it, Lord, and getting a understanding, asking yourself questions. And I believe it, you kind of have to do it with other people, because you only know to your extent of your imagination. Like, you can only process what you know to process, whereas you get somebody else involved that can help you through that process and get you to ask questions and get you to think a little bit deeper, but encouraging people to make it an active process. Like, read about it, dig deeper, get into the word, like all of those things I believe are necessary. Because I would say, even for myself, I feel like at 57, I'm finally walking in my purpose. And I've, I've been empowering women I've been doing that over 30 years, but it's a whole different feeling now. You're right.
Hmm.
When Champ had said, you look at the monetizing it, and because it just the natural of us think about the financial, like that's just the
Right.
flesh.
Right.
Lord, my needs and my bills, like, right.
Right, you know these bills got to be paid.
So I think that's our flesh, but when you continue, I just believe he will take care of us. You stay true in your walk, but also asking him to guide you, asking, for discernment, all things. I'm a big giver. I want to help everybody. Just, going to help fix it. But I also know that I need to be intentional with what I have, my time and what I'm doing, being a good steward, so that I can also still take care of what I need to take care of. But I wouldn't one of the one, I talk about it all the time, and I know Shawntel has heard me say it a good gazillion times, is that book 100 Days of Believing Bigger. And where she talks about your gifts, it's all about identifying your gifts. And you said this earlier, Champ, about um, um, your purpose as it impacts everybody else. I believe, I got a couple of Deniseism. So I believe we all hold a piece of the puzzle. Like, we
Right.
all hold a piece. So my gifts are for me to contribute to you, right? I'm
Hmm.
connected to people. So there's certain people God has assigned to me, and I have a piece of the puzzle. So the puzzle can't get completed without my piece. My piece looks a certain
Right.
way, it's uniquely shaped, and yours is too. So, right? So it's that connection through it all. Like, we all need each other, and we need to identify our gifts, because all the gifts are needed. That's just how I look at it, the whole picture of it. So, for those who don't know, I really try to encourage them to do the research, like dig deep, take some time to really get into that season, so they feel, Champ, you were confidently, like, we are clear, your like, you so confident in it. And there's so many
Hmm.
people who aren't, but I don't
Hmm.
even know if they know where to start to
Yeah.
get the answer with it as well.
Like Chantel said, I mean, you can. you can start with what draws you. You can start with your passion. What are you passionate about? You know what I mean? And like I said, a lot of things that we're not gonna figure out until we start walking in it. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna
Mhm.
know everything just at one moment. You know, a lot of
Right.
things you won't figure out until you start. But it's about taking the first step. And I also like what you said, you know, people may get confused the gifts and the talents and don't know where to go there. But when it comes down to your talents can be used as a tool. For example, like I like basketball, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good at basketball. I mean, I love it. And what does most young men like? They like sports.
Mhm.
You know, so if I can get in position where like I'm coaching a basketball team or whatever, making it fun for them, I can also be a voice for them that they'll listen to and become a leader of men through my talent can support my purpose. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So everything we kind of work hand to hand, but what's also important that you have to take the first step even if you don't know what it is sometimes. Just walk by faith and not by sight.
Right. Right. Move. You ain't got to know all the steps. You just need to take the
Nah,
first.
the
Right.
first.
Just take the first step, and then put yourself in position and make yourself available.
Right.
Um, don't just sit on the island just trying to, I don't know, and accept not knowing.
Mhm.
And accept not knowing. So, what would be if you guys had the opportunity to share a message, what message would you want to share? Like what? Because I know, Champ, we're going to, I'm going to bring this up while you're saying this part. So, I don't see any questions in the chat. Anybody have any questions, please just come off mute and share it. But what, what would you want to be the thing that somebody remembered if they had the opportunity to be on this call today or was listening to the recording? Like, what's your ultimate message you want to share with people? And it doesn't necessarily have to connect as much, not necessarily from a couple standpoint as far as because you both have, although you guys are truly connected, you do have your own kind of platforms, right? Um,
Mhm.
so that's what I'm saying from that standpoint. So I'm gonna share. So who wants to go first? Go ahead, Champ.
All right. I just want to share a few Bible scriptures. Seek you first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything that you need will be added to you. That is very important. Like I stated earlier, God won't put no more on you than you can bear. And one last one is that always remember this one that you can constantly recite to yourself, especially when you're feeling down, depressed, discouraged, overwhelmed, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I also just want to share this one last story when it comes down to, how important it is to have this relationship with Christ. I remember I was having some alone time. I was on a basketball court, my last day of prison. I was on a basketball court by myself. And I was starting to get nervous. I'm like, Lord, I mean, this is it. What am I gonna do? Now I got to start thinking about all the negative things, the I got a criminal record, my background, all the rejection that I may face, all the troubles that I may face, or am I even capable of doing these things that you have called me to do? Now, mind you, through this 8 years, like I said, I've been talking to the Lord. I've been journaling. You said something about journaling earlier. Journaling, write down the vision is very important because it's been days that I just had to go back and look when I kind of like lost my way to see what I done wrote down. And I remember the Lord saying to me just as clear on that basketball court, just stick to the plan. And once you come up with that plan with God, like I said, write it down. It's something that you can always go back to and read. But also just if you already know what to do, stick to the plan. And if you're trying to figure out what to do, start talking to the Lord. Like Miss Denise said, surround yourself around like-minded people who can kind of give you some type of guidance and directions. And I promise you, you will find your way.
Awesome. All right, Miss Shawntel.
I think that the one thing that I would say that I would love people to take away is just as long as you have breath in your body, you have a purpose. You were put on this earth to do something. Um, and it nothing is greater than the other, you know. I think so many people think if they don't have a calling to be a preacher, if they don't have a calling to have a large platform, then it means that they're less than. But we all have a purpose in the body of Christ, you know, and we all serve some type of function. And so I think just remembering and knowing that you really you matter, you know, and that you finding out what your purpose is and staying on your purpose. Even when you want to give up, there's a reason why the Lord is pulling you to that. And so just sticking, like Champ says, just sticking with the plan. And just knowing that it may be a season where it may be overwhelming, you know, you may have a crying baby on your lap, but you know, it all works out for your good. So just keeping on the path that you're supposed to be on.
And know that you're going to go through things in life. Know that you're going to have trials and tribulations. But every trial and tribulation that comes in your life is not to destroy you, it's to make you stronger. It's to give you something that you may be lacking that you need for your purpose. You understand? It's just like me and my situation. I could have easily looked at this situation and been like, boom, my life is over. I
Mhm.
got a record. Nobody will ever hire me. That could have stopped me from trying altogether, but still able to move forward. And a lot of times I've shared my plan with people while being in that situation. They used to tell me, you ain't gonna be able to do that. You got a record now. Ain't nobody gonna let you in their school. Ain't nobody gonna let you work for them. I could have taken that as
Right.
discouragement, you know. But knowing that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, I know all things are possible. So I continue to go for it. And like I said, just knowing that you're gonna have some trials and tribulations. Like I said, everything is not meant to destroy you. Sometimes it's meant to give you a missing piece that you need. But the only way that you're gonna get this missing piece is just by going through that trial and tribulation.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell your this is their website. So make sure you connect with them. So for on social media, I know Shawntel is Shawntel Hibbler. What's your social media? Jarvis, are you under Jarvis or Champ?
Champ mentality.
Champ mentality. So yes.
Mhm.
So he does video. Do you do it just is it on Tuesdays? Do I have that right?
On Tuesday, Champ Tip Tuesday, but I'm gonna be constantly expanding to do more things.
Okay. And then check out on YouTube also with Shawntel. So just check them out, you guys. They have some I have not seen many of the Holy Hood clothing, so I have to check out the website myself with that. But check them out, and hopefully, you guys are just encouraged to identify your purpose. And then when you're going through, I would say, I'm going to put this back on. Put us back on gallery view. Go out the way. Can't do that. Can't figure it out. How can I see? Oh, there we go. Um, see, right. Okay, great. But anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask any questions. I appreciate you guys getting on. Just really, nothing. We all know that it's never going to be perfect, right? But in the process of that, stay prayed up, right? I love when you said stick to the plan. Like we pray, we ask God for something, He give us a whole plan. Something goes, we get a hiccup. Now we think it's got to be a new plan. No, it's just a hiccup. It's just something you got to learn from it,
Right.
and just continue to move forward. I always believe that when they say get couple things when you said about we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. I always ask people, what is your all things? Like, what does all things mean to you? Because we'll say it, but then this one thing we're not connecting what we just said. So is it not a part of our all things. So what is your all things? And then you can't stick to a plan if you haven't gone to God to get a plan. So taking that time to do that as well, I think it's really important that, you have something to come back to when you get off a little bit. You're like, okay, wait. This is not what I prayed for. Or this is not, I prayed for one thing, but I'm doing something else over here. So just being able to stay aligned with that as well. So, any last comments? I think everybody give us a thumbs up if you heard something in the conversation today that you can use for yourself. Let me make sure. You can use, what is your all thing that's true? Yes. Yeah, okay. I see the thumbs and the hearts coming up. Oh, and so, well, I do appreciate y'all for taking the time tonight to share, just giving a different perspective on it. I would imagine you guys would agree with me that sometimes we're not all where we want to be, but if we continue to just stay prayed up, continue on the process and stay in the course, you're getting yourself closer and closer. I don't believe we ever arrive. I believe it's a continuous journey. That's my thoughts, because it's always something we could do. So, was she hanging up? Yeah. Okay. So, but that's it. So you guys, thank y'all. Have a great rest of the night. And remember, gotta show one thing. Don't hang up yet. Wait, don't hang up yet. There's one last thing I got to show on the screen. One last thing. Don't hang up yet. Don't hang up yet. One last thing. Where's that? This is it right here. Okay, so we have gotten on together tonight, you guys. Empowered Women Empowered. So we know that we may have a couple of gentlemen on, but you don't come on anything or get any information just for yourself. We are our sisters and our brothers' keepers. So once you have gotten on, if there's anybody that you know that could benefit from it, this will be loaded to my YouTube channel, Empowered by DS. You can find all our previous recordings, but take the information and share it with somebody that can be blessed with it as well. So remember, empowered people empower. They don't just hold it to themselves for selfish reasons, because as Champ said earlier, we are really here for each other to support each other. So I appreciate y'all getting on. Just wanted to end it with that. And oops, not that. But appreciate you. Stay safe out there, Champ. See you guys soon. And thank y'all all for getting on. Have a great rest of the night. Bye, baby girl. She's like, what happened to my daddy? Yeah, have a good night.